Happy Monday, ladies and gentlemen, Allincrypto here, and welcome back, guys, for another jam-packed daily market update. I'm wishing you all a wonderful week ahead of you. We have a pretty major topic to tackle in this daily market update. We're going to be hearing from Putin's advisor, Kobyakov, who essentially says the US has devised a crypto scheme to erase the massive $35 trillion of debt at the world's expense. Now, you guys will know we've often clowned the maximalists in regards to them straying very far away from Satoshi's vision to introduce a peer-to-peer currency. And in fact, Bitcoin is no longer that. Its usage has been going down and down and down. Its core commits has been going down and down and down. And actually, its role is now a store of value, predominantly held by institutions, corporations, and the likes of BlackRock. And that's been championed. You know, a lot of them have very much sold out their principles or libertarian principles to get into this industry. But I actually think the irony is more broad, sweeping in regards to this industry is doing more to enable the financial system, the traditional financial system, than it is to combat it. And it's innovating it. And with what the United States is trying to do with stable coins, this has not just major ramifications for the dollar and the debt systems, but value systems more broadly. And this is one reason why I'm so convinced that crypto is going to succeed, because I think it is the agenda, certainly the dollar's agenda, the evolution of money, the evolution of finance more broadly. And ultimately, you know, this is going to be propagated by the likes of the most powerful country in the world, the United States. And we're seeing that. And actually where we're going to start is with what Putin's advisor, Kobyakov, essentially has to say in regards to all of this. Literally yesterday he said this. Of course, this is in Russian, so I will read the subtitles as we go through it. So let's get into this. The US is now trying to rewrite the rules of the gold and cryptocurrency markets. Remember the size of their debt, $35 trillion. These two sectors, crypto and gold, are essentially alternative to the traditional global currency system. Washington's actions in this area clearly highlight one of its main goals: to urgently address the declining trust in the US dollar. As in the 1930s and the 1970s, the US plans to solve its financial problems at the world's expense. This time by pushing everyone into the crypto cloud. Over time, once part of the US national debt is placed into stablecoins, Washington will devalue the debt. Put simply, they have $35 trillion currency debt. They'll move it into the crypto cloud, devalue it, and start from scratch. That's the reality for those who are enthusiastic about crypto. You know, interestingly, we actually entirely agree with that statement. I think the United States, and this is one reason I'm so sure that crypto will succeed's plan, is to solve the debt market with the cryptocurrency markets. And what they're going to do is they're going to democratize access to the debt. They're going to democratize the dollar globally. We already see, and we looked at this yesterday, that the dollar, the crypto-enabled dollars are actually surpassing the Venezuelan bolivar, in many cases in Venezuela. This is going to continue, and these companies are going to enable it and be worth trillions as a result of it. Your likes of Ripple, your likes of Circles, your likes of Tethers. And there's going to be a lot of kind of traffic in regards to the cryptocurrency space as a result of that. And what they're going to do is back all these stablecoins up with debt, issue a buyer to the debt, and democratize and essentially export it all over the world. It's a very clever trick. And then they're likely going to devalue it. And actually, this may be why we're seeing the potential for the first time since crypto was given to us, which is also very interesting, for the dollar to actually break down of a uptrend that it's been in since 2008 when crypto was given to us on Halloween 2008. What an ominous date. I think this is going to break down. I think your other currencies are going to gain against it. And I think that fits the agenda of exporting dollars globally because they need to be cheap or at a discount in order to do that. It makes it easier. This is also why, in the coming of this, you're seeing the likes of gold, eventually silver run. This has made our cup and handle pattern that we gave you guys in 2022, going into 2022. Sensational returns for gold. Crypto's still outperforming it. And I think people always forget that with gold and crypto. But crypto is absolutely the agenda, ladies and gentlemen. And I think was literally introduced to us to bring this about. In 2008, what you had was the financial crisis of 2008. In one of Satoshi's early sort of reports, it spoke about the chance on the brink of the second bailouts, addressing the bailouts and the kind of phony nature of the fiat systems that you can just sort of use elastically to accommodate for whatever economic conditions you have, which is, there's pros too, by the way. It's not all bad. And Bitcoin came about to address that, but the broader movement is addressing that at a bigger scale. Stablecoins are a part of that. This is interesting. It says, did the NSA create Bitcoin? We are led to believe Satoshi Nakamoto, a pseudonym, created Bitcoin. However, this is a psyop. The elite would never allow some mystery man to come in, change the worldwide financial order that they built and control. Thus, Bitcoin was planned, and Satoshi is simply a disguise for the elite. Evidence points to the NSA creating Bitcoin in 1996. The NSA released a white paper called How to Make a Mint, the cryptography of anonymous electronic cash. It detailed blockchain tech and how to make electronic currencies. Furthermore, in 2002, the NSA created the SHA-256 algorithm, which is key in Bitcoin's architecture. Thus, they created Bitcoin to get the masses on the blockchain, preparing them for the CBDC and cashless order. Potentially, this is actually a patent that was filed by David Schwartz pre the 1996 NSA release of a white paper, How to Make a Digital Mint, and it talks about distributed systems. And of course, he now works for Ripple, which I think is ultimately a key player in this, being founded by the likes of Peter Thiel and so on and so forth. We discuss stuff that other content creators are simply scared to do, because we love you guys and we think that knowledge is power and we think that the truth will set you free. And I believe that I am a major history buff, which I get from my grandma, who was a history teacher. And the history that they've taught you in schools is completely nonsensical. The science in many cases it just doesn't make sense in regards to the origins of how you got here, and nobody questions it because you taught it in school at a young age and very much indoctrinated by the schooling system and the overall sort of elite funded state. Anyway, this is all very interesting stuff, and I think moving away from the kind of conspiratorial side of things, which obviously Putin's advisor is sort of saying is the plan. And I very much believe that this is the plan with crypto. This is bullish for crypto because it's the agenda, and ultimately going to do well on the back end of it. And you're going to see not just the United States monetary system, but this is BRICS M2 versus BTC price. Money systems globally continue to inflate because that's the inherent nature of a IOU system. You have $10. Somebody borrows that $10 from you, they've got to pay you 11 back. You need to inflate the system to get the actual interest. It has to inflate. You inflate it the second you lend it out, and you essentially get the IOU, and that has to continue. And we're going to see an acceleration of that, and crypto is going to play a major role in the global monetary order of things. It's going to enable this kind of global world. To come on to crypto now, some sort of interesting macro worldwide news. I want to know your opinions on all that. This is from Milk Road. Fidelity, a $12 trillion asset manager, is now on ETH. They just launched the Fidelity Digital Interest Token, FDIT, a tokenized treasury fund that's already holding $203 million on chain. This instantly makes Fidelity one of the largest tokenized treasury products. Yeah, it absolutely does. And they're all choosing to sort of go to Ethereum. I think they'll spread out more broadly. I think when you have that problem of connectivity and the ending of siloed systems for crypto, then people choose the more optimal tech. I believe over Ethereum. I've just spoken to you about the dollar and what I think it's going to do, because they're going to devalue its debt. They're going to lever everyone up with it. And this could see the dollar fall down. And I think if you look at The Economist magazine, I did it the other day, the most recent one with Trump on it had him basically about to set fire to a load of dollars. They did a magazine back in 1988 where they essentially prophesied for a one world currency. It's not a one world currency, it's a one world system that's coming. You can't get everyone to agree on a one world currency. It has to be a system where people can choose to use what they want. Let's talk about the broader economy. We think it's doing rather well. I ultimately believe you're in a new bull market. That's my overarching take. Despite what people say, despite the perhaps worsening economic data, I think one swallow does not a summer make. You're always going to have flows with economic data. You're going to have good periods, bad periods. I think the general picture is a good one. And given the fact that the S&P had retraced its 21% pullback, meaning it was a bear market, we do believe it's now in a bull. And every time you've done this going back to 1981, you've seen that continuation. We think this sets the stage for crypto to get to sort of the $306,000 target that we believe is given to us on the back end of a cup and handle, just like we gave you gold a long time ago. We think Bitcoin is on a similar trajectory and more broadly the total market cap. Crypto is the agenda, ladies and gentlemen. That's why I want to start on what we started on. It's one reason I'm so confident in it. Ultimately, we've got a epic time ahead of us. When technologies come about, what they do is they transfer wealth. You get a global wealth transfer. So if you look at the largest stocks pre-internet, it was actually a lot of Japanese banks. I think they're going to do something interesting with crypto, and you may see some of them maybe look to regain those top market cap stock positions, like SBI Holdings and such. But whenever there's a technology, you get a great wealth shift. Stocks pre-internet, it was Japanese banks, IBM, things like this. $50 billion market cap in the 1980s was the highest stock. Today, you've got $4 trillion stocks. And they're all tech stocks because when technologies come around, they create opportunities. And that's exactly what crypto is doing. And it's a very clear, chosen agenda. And we want to make sure everybody understands that. We know that fundamentally. We know what this space is doing fundamentally, all the people that are leveraging it. We believe the macroeconomic picture is not a bad one to be investing in. Just my opinion. And certainly we've got all the technical merit for crypto going in the manner that we think it will. So when it walketh, talketh and quacks like a duck, ladies and gentlemen, it's a duck. Not a huge deal of news today. Other than that, you do have CPI and stuff coming out this week. Got UK GDP. That's going to be a real shocker, I think, in terms of how amazing we're doing over here. Yeah, that's it from me. We'll keep you up to date. CoinShare digital report wasn't launched this morning, so we will perhaps cover it in tomorrow to look at sort of some more fund flows. That's it from me, guys. I'm going to love and leave you. Let me know what you think about what Putin's advisor is saying and the broader plan with cryptocurrencies. That's it from me. I'm going to love and leave you. Thanks for watching, guys. See you soon.